Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Alright, sweet, volume's working.
Sweet, vibe's working.
Sweet. Alright, sweet. Yo, Moonies, what's up? It's me, Moonlight-kun, and tonight's another reading stream. Woo! Alright. So, did I keep you waiting, Moonies? Sorry for the long wait. Tonight, I'll be reading, well, .hack A.I Buster. In case you don't know, me and Moonlight-chan were huge fans of the .hack franchise. It's way better than SAO, and we've played most of the games. The quadrilogy, Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, well, not Quarantine because it's too expensive, as well as the GU series. I have the GU games on both the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4. Woo! Nevertheless, I've also watched the .hack Sign anime way back in the past. I even have it on DVD. And I hope that someday we'll be able to watch it together at in a future watch party. And I've also watched .hack Roots. It's not as good as Sign, but I still appreciate it. Now, so the A.I Buster novels is basically the starting point for the multimedia franchise of .hack. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Woo! Oh yeah, and recently I've been playing .hack Fragment, which was a Japanese-only PS2 MMO, which was based on The World, the titular VR MMO in .hack. Hopefully I'll be able to stream that very soon. Who knows? Just me. Sorry about that. Alright, we're back. Good. Anyway, make sure you check out our gaming channel, Moonlight Gaming, as well as our main channel, Moonlight Artists. Woo! Sorry about that. I got the sniffles. Alright, .hack A.I Buster by Tatsuya Hamazaki. Little known fact, he also wrote the main scenario in .hack GU. So you can tell this story is going to be awesome. Let's see. Area 0. Navel of Lake. Chapter 1. I plugged in. I felt the hair stand up on the back of my neck as a brief surge of excitement bristled down my spine. It lasted only a millisecond as my consciousness leapt from my real body into my avatar. I scanned my surroundings as the first thing I do whenever I jump into the world. Delta, Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground. This novel was translated by Tokyo Pop, so there's gonna be a few spelling errors. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I was in what looked like an old Gothic stone church. A long service hall stretched before me, its ceiling cross-vaulted. The marble floor had a greenish tint with a diamond-shaped pattern. A pendulum swung back and forth, marking off time. Looking around, I noticed 3 other pendulums forming a perfect square. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Whoever designed the area spent a lot of time programming an exceptional level of detail for this part of the world. An area of cyberspace with over 15 million registered players speaking 10 different languages. But since none of those registered users were allowed here in the sacred zones, Why would someone spend so much time designing this level of detail? There were a few flaws, however. There was no obvious light source, but that was the advantage of cyberspace. The rules could be bent. Of course, they could be bent to your advantage or disadvantage. I stood before a railing that was only waist high. Beyond the railing was the church's altar. I wanted to study the altar's detail more closely, but couldn't. In reality, it would be easy to climb over the railing, but that wasn't allowed here. Just one of the many cyber rules dictating that the programmer is God and the laws of physics are code. The four pendulums swung in perfect unison. Tick-tock. It reminded me I didn't come here to sightsee. I had business to attend to, and I was sore at my soldiers. At least those who were real were growing impatient. I quickly moved down the service hall, where I found the members of the Cobalt Knights waiting for me. They were stationed at each of the building's 4 exits, creating a blockade. Each knight wore a plate mail and was armed with a long sharpened spear. It was standard material reminiscent of medieval Europe and common to the most role-playing games or RPGs. One of the knights stepped forward. "We've been expecting you, Captain." "And do you have the NPC?" I asked. NPC stands for non-player character. In other words, the background people such as merchants, innkeepers, barmaids, etc. They're computer-controlled avatars who are necessary for the world to seem real. Occasionally, one formed a little too much consciousness and no longer acted within his program parameters. That's when I was called in. We sealed off all escape. Cease trapped. I moved closer to find the object of my mission. Even though I'd been briefed on the target before I arrived, I was taken aback when I saw her, standing in the center of the room, surrounded on all sides by menacing knights more than twice her size. Stood a little girl. She looked to be around 12 or 13 and was dressed entirely in red. Even her platinum blonde hair had red streaks running through it. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, and I noticed she wasn't wearing any shoes. "Your sword is her?" I asked. "Absolutely, she matches the description, and she doesn't appear to be a cheat. Cheats are modified characters who break the laws of the game. Why not just call it a hacker?" Whatever. An example of a cheat might be someone who always hits whatever they swing at, even when the game mechanics would dictate a miss. Jeez. And people say DPS meters are cheaters. "What should we do, Captain?" She turned towards me, her eyes wide and innocent. At the same time, her expression betrayed her realization she was caught in a web she couldn't escape. In all honesty, I think more MMOs could use more DPS meters. It would incentivize the player to become stronger, you know. A la Final Fantasy XIV. Yo, CP, take my advice. "Are you going to delete me?" Her voice was as sweet as innocent as her face. I ignored her. "Have you sealed the area?" "Yes, both gate in and gate out functions from the Chaos Gate are disabled," reported the knight. "What about regular players?" I asked, checking up on whether he'd read the area specs. "Not in this area, we've confirmed that." "Good. You've done your job well?" "Are you going to delete me?" she repeated. I turned away and addressed the knight in a loud voice. "According to regulations, this NPC is recognized as an irregular non-player character that is not in the specification of the Japanese version of the world." It was tech jargon for prepared to attack. When the sudden clang, the knights lowered their spears and stepped forward. They moved in perfect unison. I switched to debug mode, which is only available for system administrators, and urged my knights forward. "Are you going to delete me?" she asked, trying not to sob. "Don't pretend to be human. You won't fool me with your girlish charm. You're a vagrant AI and you'll get what you deserve." "I'm what?" "You're garbage, bad code, damaged data. The Cobalt Knights correct mistakes like you." Her dress fluttered in slow motion, something that could only happen in movies or cyberspace. I'm a failure, she whispered. Delete her. Instantly, two knights stepped forward and launched an attack. A blinding flash of white light shot forth from their spears. When it dissipated, the girl was impaled. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I listened to the pendulum swing in the background. The girl's body faded and disappeared after a few seconds. One of the knights reported, "Subject delete completed." Good. I nodded and approached the two knights who blocked the front entrance of the church. One of them was a new recruit to the Cobalt Knights. This was his first assignment. You did well, recruit. Thanks. What kind of area is this anyway? You're in the zone, hidden, forbidden, sacred. How come there aren't any monsters or treasure? There's hardly anything. It's a holy ground. No, more like it's a lost ground. It's different from the other areas of the world. Yeah. Have you heard of Epitaph of the Twilight? I asked the recruit. Yeah, I think so. Isn't that the novel that the world is based on? Yes, it used to be found on a German homepage several years ago before the Pluto's kiss. Hello, new viewer. What's up? Alright, in that hack lore, Pluto's kiss was a virus that only lasted for a few minutes but managed to severely damage the internet structure for all over the world. It caused so many calamities as well as injuries, and it was all done by a minor. After Pluto's kiss, one operating system called Alt-Limit OS was the only survivor, and afterwards, Alt-Limit OS became the default software for all computers in .hack lore. Basically, try to imagine if a deadly virus attacked all computers all around the world, and Apple was the only safe OS. Blech. I'm not a big fan of Apple. And imagine if the government declared Apple to be the one and only OS system. And that's the kind of world that hack takes place in. Ugh. Ugh. I don't really like Apple, just bleh. Oh, hey guys. Oh, hey new viewer. Hey new follower. Yo, thank you for following. Woo! What do you mean used to be? It no longer exists. But the story begins with the scene set in this area, the Navel of Lake. Navel of Lake? That's the name of this area. Didn't you do your homework? You were supposed to read the area specs before you logged in. You're supposed to have everything memorized. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh yeah, I read it. He wasn't convincing. And, well, in the old version of the world, it wasn't 3 words, but the name of the area done in 3 letters, right? You're half right, but not making any sense. Next time, try paying attention to your assignment. Until then, I'll give you a short history lesson. I sighed, recruits. Instead of selecting 3 words to enter an area, like we do now, we used to select 3 letters to enter an area. This is back in the old version of the world, as well as in the beta version called Fragment, neither of which was ever released. The recruit nodded. Now we refer to this area as Hidden, Forbidden, and Holy Ground, but it used to be called Navel of Lake. The recruit shook his head slowly. He looked around the church, taking in the details as I first had. None of the background objects were recycled or repeated, as is so often done at the same time. Instead, every detail was carefully chosen and mapped in 3D. I wonder how many CG artists had been hired to render the image of the church long before the area was completed. For commercial game software, this was extravagant. With so much complexity, this game must be important to winning the game, right? But, and I admit I didn't read that carefully, what event takes place here? Nothing. Nothing? Nothing. This area doesn't even allow monsters to appear. There are no hidden dungeons, secret passages, no traps to disarm, nor treasures to discover. Nothing happens here. Then why waste so much time creating it? Apparently there used to be events here. In which version? Beta. But it wasn't anything important. It had nothing to do with winning the game. I heard some of the other knights mutter that they'd never heard of that before. Suddenly, I realized I was the only one present who had played the older versions. Was I really that old? Ghost of the Church, I announced. Huh? When Fragment was online, there was a rumor among the playtesters that a ghost appeared inside the church. You mean a ghost character? Woo! Apparently, it looked like a man in his 30s. Obviously, we don't know what the operator looked like in real life, but that's how the avatar appeared. His face was gaunt, with green eyes, and he had wild, wavy white hair. It was rumored that he always appeared upside down. If you watched that hack sign, I'm sorry you know what you meant. I'm sorry you know what I know who this is. Say what? I shrugged. So what did the ghost do? Nothing. That's the strange part. He just appeared in his church. He didn't say anything, do anything. No spells or attacks seemed to affect him. Huh? It's all speculation. You mean a rumor? That's what I said. After the beta test was completed and the final version of the world was released, the ghost of the church was no more. Was it a glitch? I breathed deeply. Didn't they teach these recruits any history? Maybe today they focus more on theory and code. I was about to continue when I saw something move in the lower corner of my perspective. Instinctively, I followed the movement. I couldn't believe what I saw. It was the girl. Her image was reflected on the smooth, polished surface of the floor. She was floating above us, near the ceiling. Somehow she'd escaped being deleted. But how is that possible? She's above us, I shouted. The knights, not expecting any danger, were slow to react. She wasn't. She headed for the door. Cover the door, I ordered. Cover all the exits. How could she fly? Unless there were staircases or ladders, characters weren't allowed to move up or down on a simulated 3D map. Flying was against the rules of the game, but that didn't seem to stop her from defying the game's gravity. You know, I wish A.I Buster had his own anime, but I digress. The knights were reacting too slowly. She was going to escape. I only had one chance. I placed my target over her and toggled the debug command. Luckily, she was still in range. I swung my spear. And there was the familiar bright flash of white light that enveloped the girl, and then static spilled into my ears with a deafening roar. The game image impossibly scattered and melted. As the girl disintegrated into the white flash, instead of disappearing, she transformed into a ball of red light. It wasn't possible. I had landed a direct hit, but she wasn't deleted. Stop her, I cried out, but it was too late. I watched helplessly as the ball of red light sped past the knights like a bullet from a gun and saw through the open door of the church. I chased after her, but compared to her lightning-fast speed, it seemed to take me forever to get to the doorway. When I arrived, I tried to target her, but she was too fast, too far away. I watched as she streaked across the sky. The church was on an island in the middle of a lake. The strip of red light shot straight up into the troubled sky, and then erupted like a burst of summer fireworks. A shower of red sparks sprinkled across the sky as I muttered in disbelief. She's gone. Behind me, I heard the pendulum swing. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Area 1. Tacit Ruins. I threw an axe into a small spring that emerged from the withered wasteland. An impish demon with oversized water drops for his eyes and nose popped out of the water like a jack-in-the-box. Did you drop a golden axe? Asked the spring demon, sounding bored. Or was it this silver axe? A system window popped up on my screen, displaying the 3 answers. I could select gold axe, silver axe, or neither. I hit neither. What? Neither one? The spring demon sounded troubled by this answer. Then take this. A sound effect chimed, and the spring demon whoosed high into the air and then disappeared back into the spring with a great splash. A message display indicated that I had obtained a new axe. This one was more powerful than the axe I had just tossed in. Even though I had plenty of weapons, I still enjoyed seeing the spring demon perform his magic so. No matter what you tossed into the spring, he had to give you back something more powerful. I checked the game screen again, this time to see where I was. A map displayed itself in the upper right corner of my perspective. An arrow marked my directions. I turned towards the dungeon's entrance and ran across the wasteland as fast as I could. Lambda. Dark, inaccessible ruins. That's the name for an area code. I activated my Fairy's Orb, a device that reveals and displays areas that have never been searched. A message popped up saying that a fairy was investigating. A moment later, the dungeon's hidden floor map appeared in thorough detail. It was a classic 3D dungeon with rooms and passages extending 4 levels below ground. Special markers indicated treasures and hidden monsters. It looks pretty large, I muttered to myself. Fortunately, I had a few cheats on my side. In this case, I entered the dungeon from the field and slipped straight down to the 4th level. This way, I didn't have to bother fighting every creature on levels 1 through 3. I quickly memorized the map and moved forward. Spooky background music filled my ears as I entered. The dungeon resembled a demon's underground palace, complete with stone walls that glowed red. Suspended above the passageway was the corpse of a dead prisoner lying in what looked like a giant bird cage. His dried flesh clung to his bones. I targeted it for information, but it was out of range. I ignored it and moved on. There is a difference between something that can be targeted, like an object or a creature that you can interact with, and background imagery, which is only there to lend atmosphere and can't be picked up, moved, or altered in any way, no matter how much you hack at it. Sometimes doors are just decorations that lead nowhere and have nothing behind them. Windows might give you a view, but you can't break the glass or jump through them. In other words, anything that can't be targeted is meaningless eye candy. However, the next door could be targeted, so I opened it. Even though the world responds to voice chat from the internal microphone on my face mount display, FMD, sometimes it's easier to key a door open than to speak the command, cease. Upon entering, I encountered my first creatures, 3 undead headless knights, attacking with their swords in one hand, their skulls in the other. I just love how .hack just pays attention to small details, especially in each type of media, whether it's the games, the anime, or even its light novel. Their feet scraped harshly against the ground. As they charged forward, I targeted the closest one and attacked. A clean slice sent the creature's stamina gauge from green to red, indicating he was nearly dead. Another swing sent a barrage of armor and bones clanging against the wall. The battle ended in seconds. These creatures were no challenge at my current level. A clinking sound indicated that the last one had a blue treasure chest, which meant that it was trapped. Using the item command, I selected Fortune Wire and I automatically removed the trap. Targeting the chest with it, I opened the box. I was rewarded with another Fortune Wire. That's it? I hadn't gained anything, which wasn't new but was still disappointing. Hopefully they'll correct this when they finish the next upgrade. This book came out in the early 2000s, so it must have been the next patch or whatever. I checked the map. Every corridor and room was infested with monsters. Where should I go next? Somewhere behind me, I heard a faint sound. Footsteps. Spinning around, I turned back towards the direction from where I came. Had I missed the monster? While in the darkness, I tried to target anything. I was surprised by what I had found. A little girl dressed completely in red, without any shoes. Hard to believe a sweet image could exist in this nest of devils and demons. But there she was, alone, moving towards me with her head down. Huh? See, Mother? As she collided into my character. The girl stepped backward and noticed me for the first time. She appeared frightened as she hesitatingly raised her hand and moved it towards my chest. Her accents were too rich and natural for her to be just another player. Was she an event character? I lowered my perspective and zoomed in on her face. Her skin was like snow. If I looked closely, I could clearly make out each eyelash. Her eyelids were closed. Was she blind? Perhaps that was why she hadn't seen me. A chat window opened at the bottom of my perspective, and the following text appeared. Licorice. Help me. December 24th, 2005. Every human being who's ever sat in front of a computer or television knows this date. It was the day the internet crisis occurred, the day the Pluto's Kiss virus was launched. Go ahead, do a word search on Pluto's Kiss and see what you find. Of course, millions of other people are probably searching for the information at the exact same time, so you may have some difficulties. I'll give you a summary. The Pluto's Kiss tangled up and shut down the entire internet. Powerful stuff, eh? In response to the astronomical damages the virus caused, the United Nations, which really needs to be dissipated. The United Nations, along with the World Network Council, WNC, ordered a limitation on internet use until a solution could be found. Ew, just like China. The emerging net culture had blossomed at the end of the 20th century, suddenly ground to a halt. Stripped of the internet during the crisis, people referred to this era as the twilight of the new gods. Of course, the gods they worshipped were the gods of technology. It took 2 years before Ultimate OS proved to be completely resistant against the virus and a reliable service. Oh, jeez. During that time, a new internet system was built and a question of corporate management and responsibility was determined. December 24th, 2007. The anniversary of the virus became known as the Mother Mary's Kiss. It was the day that the WNC announced their network security declaration that ended the twilight. Limitations were removed, and the internet became available to everyone once more. Now imagine if the internet was gone for like 2 years. Zoomers and Gen Alphas will be throwing themselves out the window if they can't get their daily fix from TikTok. Now we hit the 30 minute mark. Sweet. Woo! That same day, CyberConnect Corporation, CC Corp, released The World. It was a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORPG, and was the first online role-playing game allowing large numbers of simultaneous players to coexist in the same world. By the end of the first day, the game had been downloaded 4,576,623 times. By the end of the year, only a week later, that figure had nearly doubled. It was the big bang of the new internet world. Licorice. Help me. There was no voice to go with the text. I had to assume she was an NPC giving out her scripted message. Licorice, I want you to help me. Licorice? I guess that was her name. I enabled a voice chat. What's wrong? Are you okay? There was a short time lag, maybe half a second, and before my spoken words were converted to text by my FMD and appeared on the lower edge of my perspective. ALBIREO? Okay, ALBIREO. What's wrong? Are you okay? Now's the beauty of voice chat. Gone were the days of typing. Well, we already have that now with closed captions, right? On YouTube. But even closed captions on YouTube can't accurately detect a person's intonation, for lack of a better term. But I digress. Excuse me. Jeez. Licorice. Help me. I need you to help me. ALBIREO, what happened? Please take me to the divine statue room. The chat window scrolled down as the conversation unfolded. Why? I can't see. The divine statue room? At Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground. At the cathedral. I don't know why I had bothered conversing with her. She is an NPC. Everything she said is a pre-programmed response to player queries. Sorry, Moonies. I need to go grab some water. Be right back, dude. Don't worry, I won't be gone for long. Yoo-hoo! Woo! Ooh. Oh boy. I hit the spot. Ooh. Alright, I'm back from my water break. And I just typed up, I typed up our dot hack playlist. From here on out, we're gonna continue reading the novels, the manga, playing the games, and watching the anime. So make sure you save our dot hack playlist. Okay, Moonies? Sweet. Alright, let's continue. Woo! Woo. I hope you can hear me well, chat. Cease. You know what? 420 is coming up. Man, I really need to do something big on that day. I mean, that's the birthday of a certain painter, and I don't want to let him down. Alright, let's continue. I don't know why I had bothered conversing with her. C is an NPC. Everything she said is a pre-programmed response to player queries. But that's what role-playing in the world is all about. The illusion of reality in a make-believe world. Voice chat is simply another function to create a stronger illusion. But I could have said anything and he would have given me the exact program response. Just the same, I stayed in a conversation. Okay, Licorice, I said into my microphone. All I have to do is take you to the divine statue room, right? Now it's so easy, I didn't even need to think about it. After all, asking for assistance in a quest is a familiar gaming adventure. Oh boy. Chapter 2. Usually, if you run into a PC, another person running an avatar, you can make verbal contact by using a microphone. But NPCs don't work that way. Under normal circumstances, event characters who make a request usually accept either a yes or no response. However, once I accepted Licorice's request, her setting automatically changed and she became attached to my character, literally. There are two perspectives, or point of view, POV, options in the world. First person sets the game's camera viewpoint through the character's eyes. You see what your character sees. Now it's my preferred point of view. Third person sets your camera away from the player's character. In that mode, you can see your avatar. Most players choose the third person perspective because it gives a larger field of vision. However, first person makes the experience more real. I had talked with the third person to make sure Licorice was still following beside me, and I was surprised to find her character holding my hand. I didn't have long to think about it before more creatures attacked. Licorice moved behind me. She wasn't going to help me fight, but at least I didn't have to worry about her either. She didn't have a health gauge, meaning she couldn't be killed. I could have been more worried if I were with a low-level player character that needed protecting. Not that it mattered. I made quick work of the creatures, and we continued through a door that took us farther into the dungeon. Don't you think ALBIREO would have noticed he's the AI in the red dress? Anyway, did I mispronounce Licorice's name? Is it Lycoris or Licorice? I don't know. I'll check it later. Let's see. We entered a room containing an altar. Floating above the altar was a strange-looking statue. It was the divine statue room, the place where she wanted to go. Now it was easy, I thought to myself. The divine statue was always located in the deepest part of the dungeon, making it the most difficult place to find. Consequently, the treasure found there was usually far more valuable than any other in the dungeon. In the dot hack games, the treasure room is usually referred to as the God statue, which is the end of the dungeon and has treasure. In the GU games, it's called the Beast statue. But I digress. Let's see. Consequently, the treasure found there was usually far more valuable than any other in the dungeon. ALBIREO, this is the divine statue room. Lycoris, please open the treasure chest. I targeted the treasure chest and opened it. You've obtained ECIOV.CYL. What the hell is this, a bug? I wondered aloud. It was a strange name for an item. Not only that, it had a file extension as part of its name. If it were a document, the extension would have been .doc. If it were an executable file, it would have been .exe, but .cyl, I never heard of it. Could it have been an upgrade? Could it have been a mistake, an error that was missed during the last upgrade? Instead of playing the world, I was suddenly thinking about code and computers. It ruined the illusion of role-playing. Then my chat window opened. Lycoris, please give me the ECIOV.CYL. NPC's requests are non-negotiable. The only way to continue with the event is to follow their instructions. Using the trade command, I selected the item and okayed the trade even though Lycoris had nothing for me. Still, there should have been some kind of reward for completing the quest. It could have been gold, experience points, information, even another quest. But if this was a bug, I couldn't expect much. In fact, it could even cause my character data to be damaged or wiped out. I wonder if I should have traded. Thank you, she said. Only it wasn't a scrolling text. She spoke. Huh? Thank you, ALBIREO. I was shocked. The world allows for full vocal communication, so it isn't strange for an NPC to speak. What was strange was that she should suddenly switch from text to verbal communication. Even more amazing, her lips were in sync with her words. Before I traded the file, her lips hadn't even moved. As I looked at her face, she started to come to life. What was happening? I could still hear the background music and sound effects, so I knew my FMD speaker and PC were operating normally. Could something be wrong with the server? No, the world is on Alt-Limit OS, which uses the finest finder optic cables available and has excellent bandwidth to accommodate the heavy traffic. So why the sudden change? If Lycoris' voice had been pre-recorded, they would have done all her lines that way. Maybe it was a program error that misread the voice link data. If that was the case, then this was a serious programmer error. Or maybe the event itself had changed, and there was no way to re-record the opening. Actually, that made some sense. Silence. The background music, the sound effects, everything was gone. A virus? My speaker began to vibrate with a deep bass noise. ALBIREO. She called my name again. Lycoris? I tried looking at the little girl, but at that moment, a bright light formed a ring around my avatar. My POV was enclosed inside of the tunnel of light, and I was lifted upwards. When the light dissipated, I found myself teleported out of the divine statue room. Town, Makanu. TLDR, in the .hack games, there's hub towns called root towns, and Makanu is one of them. It's on the Delta server. What in the world is going on? I muttered beneath my breath. Below me, a gondola floated down a canal beneath my second-story window. I watched it pass, trying not to think about the truly strange and unexpected turn of events. I knew she was waiting behind me, but I needed a moment. The sound of traditional Irish music played in the background. There was a Gaelic theme in this town that I found rather soothing. That's why I chose Makanu as my home. Or at least that's why I chose it as the homeland of my character, ALBIREO. Let's see. Delta Server Zone, Root Town, Port Town, Makanu. Why did the book repeat that twice? Let's see. It was good to be home, or as much of a home as you could have in the world. Colorful flags fluttered majestically along the cobblestone streets across from the canal. They represented Mak Anu, which means son of goddess. Each flag bore the town's crest, along with the town's symbolic elements, wind and water. Mak Anu is a route town where players begin their journeys. There, players can buy whatever equipment they might need, weapons, armors, potions, information, and later store their acquired treasures. For those with more money than they know what to do with, such as myself, it is even possible to rent a home or hideout. There is really no point in renting a home, but if you have the gold to spare, it serves as a status symbol and allows you to display your trophies. Dang. I wish you could have that in the dot hack games, even though it would be an unnecessary mechanic. And as an FF14 player, I don't have a home. The game economy is broke, just like in real life. But maybe I can rent out an apartment in my guild. Or maybe someday I'll stream FF14. Who knows? Woo! I watched the gondola continue north along the canal until it disappeared underneath an arched bridge. The canal cut across the middle of the town, leading towards the Chaos Gate. These gates are the only way to enter or leave the towns and are protected by a spell to keep monsters at bay. The gates also act as teleporters. By selecting 3 words, such as dark, inaccessible, and ruins, a player can gate into the realm of his or her choice. The 3 words act as coordinates. Hold on, excuse me. Woo! Alright, we're back. Need to take another water break. The 3 words act as coordinates. In this case, the player will end up at the dark, inaccessible ruins. Once in the field, characters can explore. It is always possible to get out of an adventure and return home, but never in the middle of a dungeon. To do that, a player will have to return to the surface first. Even the surface has its dangers. The world is in the midst of a constant and violent battle between spirits and demons. Just because a player isn't wandering through a dungeon doesn't mean he or she can't be killed by whatever monsters roam the land. A powerful spirit shield is cast to protect the towns from these creatures, but the Chaos Gate still remains the weak seam in the fabric of the protective spell. Hence, the gates are also heavily guarded. I turned from the window and spoke her name under my breath, like chorus. Her hair rustled gently like the canal water below. Her eyes remained closed, her face an enigma. She hadn't uttered another word since she said my name in the dungeon. The great thing about the world is that all conversations can be reviewed. Even the spoken ones are recorded as text. I pulled up our earlier conversation and scrolled through the dialogue. Like chorus. Thank you, ALBIREO. ALBIREO. No two names can be alike in the world. I had spent 3 days thinking of names before I found one I really liked. I spent another day on my character's design. Boyish face, sinewy body, about 20 years old. I chose brown skin and black hair done in a wolf cut, unique even to the world. Here's a spoiler. The player behind ALBIREO, he's Japanese, not black. Alright? I was equipped with a sleeveless scale mail, leather gauntlets, and boots, and a halberd. Basically a spear with an axe blade at the end as my primary weapon. Sieves. Hey Moonies, I gotta go. I'll be right back. See you in a few. Woo! Yeah, I'm back, Moonies. Sorry for these little breaks. Seriously, what's up with my voice? Oh. Anyway, let's continue. I was equipped with sleeveless scale mail, leather gauntlets and boots, and a halberd. Basically a spear with an axe blade at the end as my primary weapon. Of the 6 professional categories a player can choose from, I specialize in polearms, which include spears, pikes, and halberds. The other 5 include blade user, twin user, weapon in each hand, heavy blade, two-handed weapons. Oh, wait, twin user, that's twin blades in the hack games. Heavy axe, and wave master, spell user, basically a mage. Every weapon in the world is ranked by a number. If the number of 2 different weapons is the same, then spears and poles will retain a higher attacking power. In other words, I will have the advantage over someone with a sword of equal value. The price to pay for that advantage was a limitation on armor. What I gained in attacks, I lost in defense. but this was evened out by my personal wave. My avatar's upper arms were adorned with 3 white hexagons representing his wave, Earth. There are 6 different realms that magic can be drawn from: Earth, Fire, Wood, Thunder, and Darkness. Each realm provides unique strengths that allow its follower to launch different kinds of attacks or give extra defenses. Now we hit the 1 hour mark. Woo! Way to go, Moonies! I switched my perspective to third person. The view drew back. I could still see my avatar still holding hands with Lycurus. ALBIREO, she said it so fluently with her voice. That was the troubling part. It couldn't have been pre-programmed. No two names can be alike in the world. That way, each player has a unique name. It would be impossible to program every character's name just for this event. There were too many. It's possible they could have articulated all the vocal sounds and put them together to form any name. But whenever computers do sims like that, they always sound awkward and inarticulate. She spoke my name perfectly. How was he able to do that? I moved ALBIREO around the room. My curse followed him everywhere. Whoa. I would like to talk to a vagrant AI, but I guess our real world equivalent would be ChatGPT. Ugh. How long was this going to last? I really didn't want to adventure with the kid tagging along. I guess I would have to see this event and through before I could get rid of her. After all, that's how I got here in the first place. Once he took my hand, we had teleported from the dungeon to my home. The only way to teleport out of a dungeon is to use Sprite Ocarina, but even that just teleports you back to the surface, not back to your home. Nothing can teleport you back home. That would involve breaking the world protocol. Someone knocked on my door. I switched back to first-person POV. By targeting the door of my home, I enabled a conversation with whoever was on the other side. Who's there? I didn't have any player friends close enough for me to invite to my home. In fact, I've never allowed anyone inside my home. Lycoris was the first visitor. As he was forced upon me. Help! Called a voice. What now, I wondered? I'm being attacked by a creature. It was a female voice, very young. But that didn't mean anything. The player's real voice might have been disguised by a voice changer. Ooh. Ew, that hack predicted a voice changers. I wonder, did that hack predicted that any Troons would use voice changers online? For all I knew, the person running the character could have been a 40-year-old man living in his mother's basement. Do Japanese houses even have basements? Whatever. It's about to kill me, help! If the player had shouted that loudly in their real home, their neighbors would have called the police. But this couldn't be a monster, not running around in a root town. These were safe havens. There are no monsters, it's impossible, I said. Tell that to that thing, the voice screamed. It's just a scary looking character, maybe it's a player killer. And it's not a player, it's a monster. That's it, I had enough. I had turned away from the door and saw a large swooping saddle fall across the floor of my room. It was the saddle of something with wings. I ran to the window. Flying outside was a harpy, a creature with the upper torso of a human woman and the lower torso of a raptor with wings and claws. In other words, a monster. I looked past her and noticed a host of other creatures storming the town. Players were hard at work, defending themselves against the surprise onslaught. The evening sky was alive with demons, the streets flooded with creatures. Then I remembered, at least once every few months, a staged attack against the root town would occur. This thing's too powerful for me, the voice screamed. Seriously? I kinda hate it when safe areas in video games are all of a sudden filled with monsters for some sort of events. Alright, a few years ago, I used to play this pseudo MMO. It was called Florenzia. And once in a blue moon, there were attacks on the towns that were considered safe hubs. I remember fighting some of the monsters, but I also remember getting my ass kicked because I wasn't strong enough. I was still pretty low level, but whatever. At least I held out my own. Oh yeah. I kinda remember Terra doing something like that. I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys remember what Terra was. You know, that Korean MMO. You know, that same Korean MMO that was such a graphics whore. I remember playing it in low graphics settings since I used it on my little laptop. But that's another story for another day. Alright, let's continue. That thing's too powerful for me, the voice screamed. Annoyed, I threw open the door. Sure enough, there was a goblin with an oversized spike mace. The goblin's target was a cute girl with long flowing hair down to her waist. She was clearly a wave master. She wore a pointy witch's hat, a necklace, knee-high leather boots, and a revealing white bikini with a triangle and zigzag design representing her thunder wave. Her only weapon was a long wand, ineffective for hand-to-hand combat. Aw, look at this cute little drawing. I wish I could sew it to you. Let's see. I targeted her. Her name showed up on my screen. Hokuto. Good evening, Hokuto. Save the pleasantries and kill this thing. What makes you think I'm so tough? You own a home, don't you? You don't get that rich selling ale at the inn. The goblin rocked her again. She tried defending herself, but she reacted too late. Her own swings were wild and panicky. I found it amusing. Your character's pretty cute. I knew I shouldn't be flirting. She could be a kid. Assuming C's even a C. Thanks. Why don't you be the hero and save this damsel in distress, he teased. I think you can handle a simple goblin, I countered. Is that what this is? What's it doing in town? Wait, is this supposed to be an event? Yeah, monsters break through the spirit seal and invade every so often. The announcement's displayed on the official website page. She must have been new to the game not to notice, I thought. Who wastes time reading that crap? Me, I guess. Are you going to stand there or are you going to help? I'm thinking about it. Maybe you wouldn't be in this situation if you kept up with the boards. Fine, I'll read the boards religiously from now on. I'll memorize them, just kill it. Whack. The goblin hit her over the head. It sounded painful. I had long ago memorized the types of weaponry in the world, so I would know how tough my opponents were. Hokuto's wand was very low level, a beginner model in fact. Anyone playing the game for even a few hours would have been able to upgrade. Are you a newbie? I'm being sliced up by a lousy goblin. What do you think? I laughed. Don't just sit there. The goblin hit her again. But I was safe from its attacks. Nothing can happen to a player inside their home. Other characters may enter if they're invited, and I wasn't about to invite either her or the goblin. Why can't I get inside? You need an invite. She really didn't know the rules. Then do it. Not a chance. I don't team up with other players or join parties. I'm a loner. Let me in or I'll die. The goblin continued hitting her mercilessly. Whack. Whack, whack. But she wasn't dying. Was she using healing spells? I didn't notice her casting anything. Her health gauge should have been critically low by now. There's an old gaming adage. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Thanks for the wisdom, jackass. She finally managed to dodge one of the goblin's blows. You better hope I die because if I don't, I'm coming back to kill you. I laughed, as if a first-level character could challenge me. Jerk. Whatever, I was about to shut the door when Lycoris appeared in front of me. If she was in front of me, that would mean that she left my home. And if we were still holding hands, that meant I shifted to third person. We were both standing in the hall now. She had dragged me from the safety of my home. Damn it. I grumbled as two additional goblins appeared from around the corner in attack mode. Damn it, I said louder, switching back to first person POV. And then I used my attack to kill, double sweep. My spear arced sideways in a large semicircle. It only took one hit. Both goblins fell instantly. So did the third. It was a big sweep. It's about time you did something, said the witch kid. Before I could make a snide comment, Lycoris spoke. Look for their boss. It sounded like a command. Lycoris? Earlier she ignored ignored my every question. Now she was giving me orders. The tables have turned, ALBIREO. Find your boss, ALBIREO. Then again she used my name. As part of the invasion event, there's always a boss, or a commander, usually a high-level creature or evil warrior, who leads the attack. They're always the toughest creatures to fight. Apparently, the invasion event was somehow connected to the Lycoris event. I guess that meant my adventure was continuing. I had to see it through, if nothing else. I had to learn how she was able to say my name. Alright, Lycoris, I'll search for him. Thank you, ALBIREO. It was time to go outside and face the flood. Ooh, read event time. And this is gonna sound cool. Sweet. Huh. Alright, Makanu's main street was in absolute chaos. Spells erupted like fireworks. Weapons and claws were flailing. Even the game's background music has switched to a frenzied symphonic score to match the danger level everyone faced. The streets were quickly filling with ghosts, players who died during the game. When a creature is killed, its body slowly vanishes from the screen. When a player dies, their character remains a silhouette, marking the place of their demise like a permanent shadow. I heard someone's voice nearby. Judging by the hellish nature of our enemy, I bet the boss is some kind of... A heavy blow from a giant ogre cut him off. The player's avatar instantly turned him to shadow. He was dead. Someone else finished the dead player's thoughts in my chat window. Orca, the boss must be some kind of demon. The voice chat system instantly translated the speaker's words into text. Probably a greater demon, I mused, but unlike the other voices, no one could hear mine. And there are different modes of chat in the world. Talk, party, and whisper. Talk mode allows everyone within a certain radius to hear you. Party mode, the most common, limits your conversations to those in your immediate group, usually your friends. Only those on a shared list could hear each other, and anyone excluded from listening. Whisper mode allows you to directly talk to another person without anyone else overhearing. Damn. Another water break. Be right back. Woo! I'm back, Moonies. Kept you waiting, huh? Okay, let's continue with the story. Woo! Experienced players can quickly alternate through these modes, allowing a more sophisticated level of conversation than in reality. For example, a character can say something in talk mode, heard by all, then quickly switch to whisper mode and badmouth someone right next to them. Of course, you have to be careful you're in the right mode when you say a rude thing, or it could lead to the trouble. Even ghosts can still chat with members of their party to plead for resurrections. Because of these different modes, I wasn't bombarded by the hundreds of player voices surrounding me. Most people were in party mode, so they would only communicate with their friends. I was currently in party mode, but as a loner. I had no friends listed, meaning no one could hear me. Someone in talk mode said, "We have to find a boss and kill him if we want to put an end to this invasion." Orca, I agree. Let's go. My brain ran through the various types of creatures we'd be up against so I could figure out what kind of boss might be in command. The majority of the creatures were a mix of goblins, ogres, harpies, and bats. Goblins and bats were nothing, but to command ogres and harpies would require a demon of great power. Running through the main street, I was targeted by every creature I encountered. Having to deal with each creature before I could pass was becoming tedious. Suddenly, 4 giant ogres surrounded me, boring my way like a wall of flesh. I could hear their simulated breathing through my speakers. I shouted a command, "Double sweep." My halberd flashed through the air. The breathing ceased. Their bodies toppled onto each other, piling into a small mountain before fading away like mist. "Awesome," someone shouted. "He's powerful," someone else yelled. Cheers leapt up all around me. I suddenly found every player's eyes turned towards me. Then someone began clapping. Accents said this clapping can easily be typed into the keyboard with clap, so avatars would simulate the command. Using these commands allows avatars to express a wide range of emotions and accents. I didn't have time for the gratitude. I was looking for the boss. It was the only way to see through the light course events. I pushed my way through the throngs of characters and creatures. And when I reached the base of the arch bridge that crossed the canal, all hell broke loose. A great cloud filled the air and then, with a mighty roar, burst into flame, turning nearly every character on the bridge into ghosts. I found them. The demon was more than twice as large as the ogres I had fought. Its head had 2 mighty horns and bat-like wings that spread wickedly from behind its back. When the creature smiled, a forked tongue wagged from its mouth, and a pitched tail waved triumphantly. The monster resembled Satan. My perspective trembled with every movement the demon made. This creature was powerful. There's no way this could be an event. Like, really? A monster that powerful attacking a beginner-level root town? Whew. The remaining players near the bridge panic. Some quickly try to resurrect their fallen comrades with spells and reviving potions, but anyone reconstituted was returned to death an instant later when the demon unleashed his strong attack. The monster's power was unparalleled. Some of the weaker players felt it was unfair. "This is a violation of rules," someone shouted. The demon's third attack finished off everyone left on the bridge. There are only ghosts filling its expanse. An eerie silence fell. There were no more resurrections. The dead remained dead. Everyone within the demon's range was annihilated. "I never seen anything so powerful," a voice said, dumbstruck. "It's unstoppable," someone else echoed. Turning, I noticed more characters appearing in town. Having heard of the event, people were logging in to get a glimpse of the powerful demon. At the same time, they were keeping their distance so they wouldn't lose their characters' lives. Few of them even had the power to damage the demon, much less take it on with any chance of winning. I was amazed to see how many people could log in without slowing down the world's server. A voice brought me back to the matter at hand. Defeat the demon. It was like Cora speaking. Throughout the mayhem, Sam managed to remain by my side. There would be other warriors who wished to share in his glory, I spoke in character. Defeated ALBIREO, as you wish. There wasn't time to plan. If I was going to win MVP, I had to attack before any other high-level character showed up. I kept my POV in first person. Seeing Licorice running along beside me would have been too distracting during battle. I charged. The demon towered over me, forcing me to look up. Primary attack I commanded. My spear lashed out, striking the foul creature, and groaned with, and groaned with rage, and flashed its menacing fangs at me in a wicked, evil grin. Its wings flapped, creating an explosive wind, before it unleashed the same spell that had just annihilated everyone on that bridge. A black spear crashed down, engulfing me before turning into a flash of fire. I was expecting the worst, but I wasn't expecting this. My health gauge flashed red. I had been this badly injured since my earliest days of gaming. As a solo player, there would be no one to resurrect me if I died. I could lose ALBIREO. I quickly cast a lightning spell, upping my attack skills and toughening my defenses while downing a full recover potion. My health turned back to green. For now. I launched a series of deadly attacks, spending as many skill points as I can. I knew the demon would have far greater endurance than any creature I had ever fought before. The monster released a barrage of attacks that forced me to constantly drink healing potions to stay alive. This fight was getting expensive. My halberd made a distinctive noise when I attacked. Suddenly, I heard a new sound. Somebody had joined the fray. To an outsider, it may seem generous that someone would jump in to help, but in reality, they were hoping to strike the death blow before I did. It was a competition. Whoever killed the creature would gain a large amount of experience points. Okay, Moonies, I'm gonna leave the story here. It's getting a bit late, honestly. Well, Moonies, thank you for watching our live stream. And make sure you come back for the next one too. That way you can catch up with The Hack A.I Buster by Tatsuya Hamazaki. And I hope once I'm done with this book, all of you guys will be able to get into the Hack franchise. And I hope you'll love it too. And honestly, each entry is standalone. So you won't have any FOMO if you want to start, you won't have any FOMO if you just want to start somewhere like the GU games. GU Last Recode. Anyway, Moonies, check out our main channel, Moonlight Artists, as well as our Let's Play channel, Moonlight Gaming, and MoonliightLive, all on YouTube. And don't forget to like, follow, comment, and share. And also follow us on Twitch too, under Moonlight Artists. And all of our socials will be on my links description. Cease. We have a Twitter, we have a Discord, we have a Facebook, and even a TikTok. Even though we hate Chinese spyware. Well, Moonies, I'm Moonlight-kun. I see you on the other side of the moon. And also, follow us on Twitter, which is also Moonlight Artists. So that way you can keep track of our streams. So I'm Moonlight-kun. I see you on the other side of the moon. Bye, niggas. Woo!